Remix Morning Show. Giving you that boom bap breakfast. Right here on Black Power Media. Once again, welcome out, y'all. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Air Doctor. And this is that boom bap breakfast, and we came here to give it to you right now. Let me introduce you to our host. We got no other than Burn It Down, Kim Brown.
Yes.
And his screen ain't on, so I ain't even gonna bring him up. Psych. No other than Kate Franklin.
Yeah. Come on. Let's go, crew.
True. Let's run it. Let's run them jewels, son. What's going on?
Well, as y'all can see, it's a little bit different today.
What's going on, Ear Doctor? Why is our presentation slightly
sloppy
different?
Well,
why is it so bad?
Somebody came and deleted some stuff on our page.
Who?
Listen.
We still don't know.
Name.
Who did it? Some disgruntled employee of Black Power Media? Was it that white guy we hired? What happened?
That's what y'all
when you put your hands up like this. I don't know, but all I do know, Leia, this is not a repeat. We here. So I don't know.
This is not a repeat.
It's not a rerun.
So y'all know the audience. This is live, even though it looks like it's. I don't know.
Oh man. So So pretty much it's all going, but hopefully we can get our people May and some different people to put all the stuff back up on the page and redo it. But
I just don't see how show elements get accidentally deleted. Like I'm befuddled.
I'm with you, Kim.
Hey.
It needs to be an investigation by the FBI, by the GBI, by the CBI, by the CPS. Somebody needs to come and handle this situation. I don't understand what the hell is going on.
This is crazy.
They're messing with my money.
Yeah, I'm saying, man. Woo.
Speaking of which, chat, the reason we lost everything is because y'all not giving enough money up.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Here come Kamak, everybody. Empty out your pockets. About to turn everybody upside down and shake all the change out your pocket.
So
we
got 350 people live yesterday.
Actually, it was 357. Actually, it was 357. At the top. Just let you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna touch on something that y'all probably don't agree with, but celestially, Mercury is in retrograde, so a lot of times Higgy shit will go down with your electronics, with your communications. Tell them, everybody. They think I'm kidding, chat. Mercury is in micro braids, right? What's going on?
Micro braids or retrograde? Wait a minute, you taking my spot.
Mercury's in the Gatorade, y'all.
The microwave.
So I'm not shocked that this happened. My mother actually had something weird go on with her Wi-Fi and modem, whatever situation. So yeah, this is tis the season for this kinds of things to happen.
Yeah,
this seems like robbery to me. We got no computer fingerprints thing we could do. Who's the last one on? All that IPS address.
I don't know.
Isn't there an IPS address? Y'all were talking about that yesterday. The IPS. Isn't that what it's called? The IPS?
No, it's the IP.
The IP address. That's what I said. The IP address. Where's that at? You need to do an investigation there, Doc. I feel like you're taking this too casually.
Hey, listen, the thing is, you know what I learned about life?
Okay.
What's that?
Things you just got to deal with, and you got to keep it moving. You can't get stuck in a moment. When you get stuck in a moment, you can't go further.
That's your homespun wisdom. That's your homespun wisdom.
Think about it. Think about people that get caught in the space and time and can't go no further because they stuck there. you know, it happens. You got to just keep moving and make whatever happen. We here right
when
now.
they take their gun out and start shooting.
The show is on. People are tuned in. We got news. We got music. We got
news. We got news.
Yes. There we go. Nick Fuchsius, everybody. Nick Fuchsius. Give it up. a little philosophy from Nick Fuchsius over there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We even got good news. Guess who's making it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And hit me up last night on the late night.
Who?
Your girl, Missy Elliott.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, Missy Elliott.
Let's go. Yo, VA, stand up. Two up, two down. Virginia, what's up?
So,
how many hits did she really have?
Whoa. You know what?
Easy.
See, that's when that right there, that's when you get suspended. They was ready to suspend them in the comments yesterday for talking about me.
Right. Oh, God. You see the look on Jared's face when he come out said that shit. I said, oh my God.
Everybody's thinking it. Everybody's thinking it. Everybody was thinking it.
Yo, Missy produced, wrote. She did a bunch of things, man. So you check her catalog.
That's it. She did a bunch of things.
No.
Name me five, but together. Name me five Missy hits together.
Lose Control. Freak.
Gossip, folks.
Yeah, get your freak on.
Get your freak on. 1 Minute Man. I Can't Stand the Rain. All in My Grill. Beat Me 911. What's in the and then let's not even get into the production. She produced for Aaliyah. She produced for Monica. She produced for a lot of people. Keisha Cole.
I thought that was all Tim.
No.
Timberland. No. I wasn't all him.
No.
Nah.
Ladies
night. Come on, man. She's been on. Just to stop with him. And we ain't gonna talk about all the hits Sierra got because of Missy Elliott. Just saying.
How many? Sierra? How she had hits?
She had 2.
Plural.
I mean, I could have said hit, but it's 2, so hits.
No, Sierra had like a few. She had Goodies. She had
Level Up. That's what newer one. Well,
is that a hit though?
It was a trend. Yeah.
She married that football player. What's his name? Russell.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson.
Had a baby from Future. You know, she did her thing.
I thought she was supposed to be having sex out of marriage or some shit though. Wasn't she like a Christian? Isn't she?
Very much, but then at the same time, she's been doing a lot of twerking on the camera lately. So I don't know. I guess.
Are we equating dancing to sex, everybody?
You're right. Twerking is an African dance that went back all the way to Africa. So let's not front.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. People are always trying to say everything's like, you know.
What's new?
I don't remember ever seeing Africans, you know, back in the day, like, you know, some video of like this twerking and shit. I'm not saying all the moves aren't derived from, you know.
What are you watching, like the History Channel to see if there's
videos
twerking?
I don't see it. You know
what videos, man? What back in the day videos are we referencing here, Kamal? VHS? Are we talking about Betamax? What are we talking about, bro?
Big up Anthony D for Auntie Kim tolerating Kamal's ignorance. $10. Thank you.
Thank you. I need y'all to run me that $10 directly. I will accept it via Cash App from BTM, please, and thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Big up to a new member, Mookie. I love that name, Mookie. I got a cousin named Pookie. Big up Pookie.
And Mookie or Pookie?
Well, this is Mookie right here. Mookie is a new YouTube member. I ain't even gonna try to say his last name.
It's only Mookie.
Yeah.
Mookie Blaylock when he a ball player.
Yeah, that's right.
Mookie Wilson from the Mets back in the day.
That's right. Those are the only 2 Mookies I know.
Hey,
and then Spike Lee, wasn't his name Mookie?
Yeah. In
do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Yeah.
Do the right thing.
Right.
Oh.
Damn it, Mookie! I told your ass.
Yeah.
You play too fucking much, Mookie. You play too fucking much.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is how we doing it today, y'all. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. This is, you know, if you're the first time coming here.
Oh man.
Welcome.
Sorry. Our apologies. our bad. If this is your first time here, sorry in advance.
We're gonna get to some news and stuff. We also got another person coming on a little later. We ain't gonna say nothing. We're just gonna let the person
Are they really coming? Are they coming?
Yeah.
I feel like they're late.
We test. Nah, they got to drop their kids off a little later than you.
Is kettle late.
You know what I'm saying? Stu comes late every day.
Oh
Every
man.
day.
I love you, Kamal, because you do not lack the audacity, my nigga. Like, geez, Kamal.
They can't be held to my standards. They can't be held to my standards.
He come every day. That's right. Yo, so what up?
Hey, dog, I just wanted to tell you this real quick. I just want to thank you for your dedication, for your professionalism, for your devotion to the craft of executing a well-produced, well-put-together program as we try to give y'all each and every week here on the Remix Morning Show. Guys, if it wasn't for the ear doctor, this car would not move, okay? This is he is the engine, the transmission. he is all the things. So I just wanted to take a moment, ear doctor, to acknowledge all that you do, your level and your standards that you meet, and you make us meet them. So thank you for being about this particular project and this particular thing that we do here on BPM.
Why thank you?
What a hater.
Why thank you, Kim?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. You were saying something, Kim? My bad.
Can I finish my acceptance speech?
My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your line. My bad.
Kamal said, don't give nobody else no flowers while I'm sitting here.
You didn't give me no flowers. You didn't ask. You didn't say anything about my excellent work.
Flowers about coming late. Good, big up. You did your job again. I mean, shit.
Your excellent work lies in other areas, Kamal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would count this amongst your body of excellent work. You do have a body of excellent work, but I don't know if it's here.
He's in the streets. He is in the streets. He be outside. Yeah. He be outside, working with the people. And that's the thing. I want people to know out here that all of us do stuff. We all do stuff helping our people, waking up every morning, giving them something. So if we get on here and have fun, have a good time, and still give you that radical news and stuff, that's what we do. But we're going to have a good time doing it. Yeah. So yeah. With that said, I guess we need to take our first break now. Get ready for this transition.
Oh boy.
Because So this is the Remix Morning Show. We'll be back after this first break. Yeah, let's go.
And so I started off, that's how I got my name, Rick Rock. And I said, Ricky Rock. That was like my solo.
He's like, I am not going back to Alabama. Yeah, man,
I stayed on floors. I stayed in parks. I stayed in, studios. I was just like, I ain't going back. And I had baby mama at the house, all the shit. I was like, I can't go back. You know how it is in the Gump? It was my opportunity. So those things made it like a trip. And then when I came with something, and he just was.
He did that. That's what he be doing.
Then he went in and he recorded it. I'm on the, he was recording with me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, could you change that a little? And he's like, who does that? He said, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. But who does it? I remember him saying,
who tells Jay-Z?
Yeah, basically, like, you gonna tell, okay, I will listen to you. It's cute. It's cute. I like what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. If y'all ain't ever check out the doctor's office, please go ahead and make sure y'all go check it out.
What the hell was that? What the hell was this transition? What's going on here? I dude is good though. He's a good beatbox. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If you never, it was a quick one. Let me make sure Kim is back. You right, Kim? Let's go.
That was a very quick transition.
He's like, everything is gone. I got no choice.
I got nothing. But if y'all never checked out the doctor's office, go check it out. Go to the playlist and pull it up. Look under Sundays, and you can check out that interview I did with super producer Rick Rock, who just dropped another album. Work with various MCs.
You know who Rick Rock is?
I've heard the name. Doctor, give me a hit or two that I would know Rick Rock from, because I know the name, but I can't.
Baby, if you give it to me, I give it to you. Oh, you know what you want. That right there. He done a lot of stuff for E40.
Okay.
A bunch of stuff he did stuff for Tupac, Jay-Z, Will Smith, you name it.
What did he produce for Jay? I'm curious.
What is it? Parking Lot Pimpin'.
Yeah.
That was a big
and War Stories for Tupac. and another song for Tupac. But anyway, I digress.
I miss not being able. Well, no, I mean, no one's stopping me. Let me just put it that way. But I don't go back and revisit Jay-Z's catalog like I used to. And I'm just remembering Parking Lot Pimpin'. That was on the Dynasty, the rock album.
Exactly.
Woo, that was a banger. I mean, the album thump, really from top to bottom. This before Kanye started rapping when he was just producing. Woo!
Now, big up to my pops. He had his birthday. R.I.P. to him the other day on Monday. He made sure that like he bought us the beat machine. So the first beat machine Rick Rock ever had, my dad purchased. It was like, listen, y'all go ahead and make that music. He gave me a year after high school to be like, if you can work on to try to be a rapper, I'll let you do it. Yeah, gave me that gap year. And
so wait, you knew this dude Rick back in the day? Y'all
no, we had a rap group.
Homies.
We had a rap group back in the day.
Oh,
is this when you was signed?
We was gonna sign a Polygram, but they was gonna take all our everything. So he's like,
"That's the business, son. That's the business."
Yeah.
It had come out.
So y'all decided not to sign.
Yeah, because they was gonna take all the royalties and stuff. He was like, "Nah, Jack."
So you never signed because of that?
Because of that, yeah. We was just gonna keep going, but after a while, we was just like, we was in Alabama doing hardcore hip hop. It wasn't really. This was the time of Magic Mike and a lot of bass music.
In Birmingham? You're Birmingham or where?
Montgomery.
Montgomery,
Alabama. Yes, I stayed there for like a year and a half, 2 years. Yep.
Oh, wow.
You thought that was where your hip hop career was going to take off? If you went to Montgomery or some shit? I don't understand.
It was like a mix between Onyx and Tribe Called Quest, man. They wasn't trying to hear that shit.
Out of Montgomery, Alabama.
So Rick wound up moving to Cali, and he made beats for Tupac, and that's how he got on. So yeah.
What did he do for Pac?
I just said War Story, Trading War Stories, and another song. I forget what it is.
Got it. Wow. I mean, he sounds like he's worked with top.
He worked with everybody. He's worked with everybody. So big up to that brother.
Came to Atlanta and started selling drugs.
I came and went to Freaknik and came and started going to Morris Brown and started getting my education. So
hey, what's up? You guys peeping this Jermaine Dupri documentary about Freaknik? Are some of y'all in the 40s and 50s? Y'all concerned that your kids and grandkids are going to see how y'all was wiling out in 1993? Is
that out already? Is it out, the documentary?
No, it's coming. Not yet. Oh. But all you're going to do is see me selling T-shirts. That's all you're going to see me doing in the whole documentary if you see me. I was out there gigging.
I hope they tell the truth, to be perfectly honest. Like, Freaknik was a I only went to one Freaknik, and I think I went the last Freaknik they had, 98, 99, something like that. I mean, a lot of people got sexually assaulted at Freaknik. I'm just saying. Like, I mean, it wasn't a good time had by all. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you got to put the whole thing in context. I hope they just don't show it as it was this big, huge party. I mean,
like he said, it was really about Atlanta and how Atlanta got so populated. So it was supposed to be really about how Atlanta got on the map so big and everybody moved to Atlanta after Freaknik and showing that.
I'm putting money down.
That great migration, as I like to call it.
I'm putting money down. They're skipping over all that.
I believe
this is going to be a celebration. I'm putting money down.
It's a celebration, bitches.
They're going to show some asses.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to show some, chest out. They're going to show dudes with chains on. Mm-hmm. Everybody having a good time. Mm-hmm. They're obviously going to show the authorities fucking with people. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to lower the rest of that shit.
I mean, it seemed to me like the police got overran in Atlanta. Huh?
I'm talking to Ear Doctor. He's trying to get off.
Oh, my bad, Ear Doctor.
I was trying to get this news.
Finish, Go ahead. Finish, Kim. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. My recollection of Freaknik is it was the police to nigger ratio was way off. You know what I'm saying? It was like the police was just overrun. Is kind of how I kind of remember going to Atlanta for Freaknik.
She said the police to nigger ratio.
But you know what? That goes to the dynamics of looking at Black Wall Street and stuff like that. Like the fact that it was so many people in Atlanta at that time, so many black people, and if they really wanted to get rid of a lot of black people, they could drop the bomb. You know what I mean? For real. That's what happened in Black Wall Street. All them people was together doing their thing, getting it, and they set fire and started riots and all that stuff. It's like when we talking about like if they was to give us a certain amount of land in reparation, did I say that right? Reparation. Yeah. Reparation. Then we would have all this southern land, and then they can just mess up the crops. They can go ahead and throw a bomb down. It's like I'm not too big on this whole. Anyway,
like
you wasn't thinking that in '96, my guy. You was out there getting numbers, selling T-shirts.
I was just
other things,
smelling like patchouli. You know what I'm saying? Incense, my sister. We got some oils over here, my sister. Oh, sis.
Mm-hmm. You look good out here. You know what I'm saying?
I need to go watch Black Myths because they settled this. Okay. Make sure y'all also go watch Black Myths podcast right here on Black Power Media. Quick plug. All right, go ahead.
But they settled the issue of Freaknik? Was Freaknik?
I think
the whole
about Black Wall Street. Got it. Sorry.
No doubt. So I guess y'all ready to get to some news?
Let's do it. You gonna hit the transition button?
There you go. Right here. Let's get it.
Oh God. What the fuck?
Yeah, okay. Boom. There we go. Map has been slapped. Welcome, everybody. It's the Remix Morning Show. We appreciate you guys checking us out here exclusively on Black Power Media on this good Thursday, May the 4th. Remixers, big up. Good morning to you all. It's Kim Brown, Kamal Franklin, the ear doctor. We have a special guest host joining us just coming up here pretty shortly. You guys, please give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do so. Shout out to all the people that have signed up for memberships to the channel. You can check out some exclusive content, and it's another way that you can support the channel. So we definitely appreciate it. What's the Cash App come out if people want to send material support? Well, maybe not this week. This is the first of the month week. We get it. It's rent.
I don't even remember. Oh, there you go. Cash App is $ Black Power Media. You always got a couple of dimes and pennies to drop. Send that money in. What's going on?
Can you actually Cash App 10 cents? I don't even think they allow.
They don't allow that?
Nothing like less than $1. Yeah.
All right. So do at least $10 or $100 or something. Just keep dropping. I understand. Like how the guest host going to be on the screen soon if they chopping it up in the chat? I just saw the guest host in the chat.
I mean,
so
but
I don't understand how they're in the chat.
But why are you regulating what people where people at when they there, sir?
Well, what I'm just saying though, if they're gonna be the guest host, how come they got time to drop emojis in the chat, but they now got time to put the camera on and come on?
There goes the surprise.
Well, they don't know who I'm talking about. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
I know.
I'm shutting up, Kim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just mind your business. Yes. Kamal don't like to mind his business, everybody. He be minding everybody else's business. In terms of news, what do we have here on the news front?
So I got an opening story for you.
Bagoon.
We got the one and only Reverend.
Who?
TD. Oh, look at this advertisement.
Not TD Jakes.
We got TD. Yep. I always get his initials messed up. I was like, who's a TD? Nobody calls themselves TD.
Except for him.
I always want to say JD or JT or just general whatever. We'll say TD. So TD Jakes Groups, Wells Fargo, join forces for a 10-year partnership promoting inclusive communities. Not exclusive communities, ladies and gentlemen, but inclusive communities. Will this run? Let me see. Let me get this commercial running for y'all. Will this run? Are they gonna do a commercial in front of a commercial? There ain't nothing playing.
Where Jakes is the pastor of the Potter's House.
Yeah.
Is his church? Where is his church, y'all? Is it Houston, Dallas? It's in Texas, right?
It is in Texas. That'd be I don't know exactly where. But it says, so the TD Jakes Group and Wells Fargo have unveiled a groundbreaking 10-year partnership aimed at creating inclusive communities for people of all income levels. The announcement was made on CBS Morning. As part of the collaboration, Wells Fargo has committed up to $1 billion to fund a variety of projects that foster community development. Bishop TD Jakes emphasized the importance of taking action by helping minority groups. The future looks very bleak, particularly for minorities, he said, Black people, brown people, and also poor white people who are finding it difficult, workforce people to find a job, to find opportunities, to get housing, to get upwardly mobile, or mobility, I should say.
sorry, he said this is for white folks too?
Oh, I mean, I said inclusive communities.
Oh.
So inclusive is one of those, and I guess this is coming up now. The inaugural project of the partnership focuses on the development of mixed income housing and retail facilities outside of Atlanta. The location for the venture is an expansive 95-acre property formerly known as Fort McPherson, which neighbors Tyler Perry Studios.
You familiar with the area?
Yes, this is in East Point, Atlanta. And there used to be as stated, an army base there that was either abandoned or not in use for several years. And then there was a whole bunch of back and forth. Again, there were plans to make it more open to the community, to do different things that were community inspired. And then the wheeling and dealing started happening, and several movie studios started competing for making bids. And then Atlanta and East Point decided, well, fuck the community. We can put some movie studios there. And then Tyler Perry swooped in. And again, they were like, fuck the other movie studios. We want Tyler Perry because he's black. So, and he's got the money, wherever he got the money from. And so they struck a deal with Tyler Perry and turned it into a big private movie studio, large, lots and lots of acres. I don't know how big it is, but it's a pretty big studio. And then what's left of it now, they're talking about this mixed income facility. Now, the reason I make fun, obviously, is because when they say mixed income, what they really mean is that they're going to put like 5 or 10 places that are going to be below market rate, and everything else is going to be market rate and above. And then usually there are sunset clauses on these places, whereas after you've lived there for 10 or 20 years, then it could be as the rents rise, they can put it up to market rate. Or if you are somehow evicted and the apartment becomes vacated, then the other thing is that immediately allows for it to go market rate. So they start off saying they're going to put it at a certain place. And I don't know the details of this particular place, but that's normally what's in there, right? It's like, hey, let's claim we're doing this for working class people and poor people. But what's built in is the idea of how much profit can we make now and how much profit can we make in 10 or 20 or 30 years. And that's usually has nothing to do with retaining and or keeping working class and poor people in those places, but it's really just a cover to say, look what good we're doing for the community, support this project, please don't protest our project, all that kind of stuff.
Kamau, please don't protest our project. I mean, so what the fuck is TD Jakes doing? Just putting his name on it for black cover?
I think that church got money, so they got I'm sure Wells Fargo is putting up most of the cash, and they expect their profit margin.
Is it JP Morgan or Wells Fargo, or they both?
It was Wells Fargo. It was Wells Fargo. So I'm sure they're putting up a lot of the cash. I'm sure he's getting hit off. This is the same way Al Sharpton tried to do development in Harlem. The black preachers, they do that. Not that TD Jakes ever did anything so-called progressive, but Sharpton at least tried to rest on the claim of being the so-called, civil rights leader, who then switched over to like, where can I get my various sources of income without having a church? Like, Sharpton he never fucked with the church thing. He just like, there's more money to be made in different areas, I guess. But yeah, but these things they're not for poor people. They're not about keeping people in their homes. They're not about keeping legacy residents, except for a few. So I don't buy it from what I've seen or know about it so far.
So what's the duration of this investment? You said $1 billion. Is it $1 billion over 10 years or $1 billion coming up front? Did they mention that? And when do they expect to break ground on this project?
They didn't mention for how long the resource is given over, but they did say that it's going to be for various projects. So this is just one of several different ones that they're going to do soon. So they don't say how long the money will be dished out. And again, I'm sure that as you said, Well, let me just read this part. It says, the reason mixed income housing is vitally important is because we tried low income communities before and they fall into the abyss and become ghettos, Jake said. Mixed incomes have a much better result, safer schools, better opportunities, upward mobility. So, you know, it's resting on this idea that if you live next to people who are middle class, apparently, the 3 or 4 poor people they stick in there, that somehow that's going to make life better for us in the long run, those of us who don't have resources or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I just think, you know, it's just one of these things where they put these black preachers out front. And again, I'm sure they're getting hit off. I'm sure this, you know, JD, T-Day, TD, whatever is getting hit off mightily in the process. But it is one of these things where they let the black preacher come out and say, hey, we're doing this. Thank you, my good partner, Wells Fargo, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, the cash gets rolling.
Yeah, we'll see what the outcomes of this are going to be. Obviously, we're keeping a very skeptical eye on the situation. I don't pay attention to a lot of preachers usually, but I just remember while you were speaking, I'm like, what was it about TD Jakes that I didn't like? Oh, right. Woman, thou art loosed. I remember when that shit came. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Jakes was way out front a decade to 15 years ago. And women, y'all need to be praying for your husband. You need to get in your prayer closet and be praying. Step your prayer game up, women. Don't be out here loose. How you gonna attract a godly man when woman thou out here loosed? Oh my God, sir. Can you please give out a message for these whoring men or no?
It's okay for us to do it.
The women that are out here loosed, is that right, Pastor Jakes? Okay. Shut up, man. Shut up.
I mean, he's one of those, and he's definitely obviously one of those prosperity preachers. But I felt like, you know, obviously I also, being an atheist, don't follow the Christian church that closely at times. But I felt like he came out of nowhere. But, you know, he's one of those folks with the mega churches. He has the black celebrities that come there. He gets a couple of white almost celebrities to come. So, you know, so he built up that reputation. I've heard some of the preaching. I wasn't moved. I wasn't like, he ain't the best preacher in the world. But apparently he's, whatever his niche is, and that's part of his niche, right? The repentance of the black woman.
Oh, yes, woman shaming. Oh,
yes.
Oh, how you going to get you a good Christian husband, ladies, when you out here masturbating?
But which always goes over well in the black community, of course. You know?
How you gonna get you a good godly husband with your titties out? Jesus
that
said, put your titties away.
You're like that I'm staring at.
The patriarchy of the black Christian church, shorty, that shit is undefeated, shorty. It is undefeated. Undefeated. Well, no, I'm sorry. The Catholic Church probably defeats the black Christian church.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Hands down. My bad.
Yeah. Hands down and hands up and hands in between in the Catholic Church.
Not hands in between.
They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot over there. Okay, so I got another black excellence story. For us real quick. Emails reveal jaw-dropping Herschel Walker money scandal.
What?
You know Herschel's up to it. Says emails show Herschel Walker solicited hundreds of thousands of dollars for his own business from a billionaire donor, with the donor believing he was giving to Walker's campaign. Ain't that just par for the course and shit? Like, they just be buying up the blacks. You know what I'm saying? It's like the billionaires, you know, Herschel, Clarence. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, I didn't know this. Hold on real quick. I didn't know that the billionaire had bought, they said the billionaire had bought Clarence mama a house. Is that true?
No. He didn't buy his mama a house. He bought his mama's house. He bought the mama's house. He bought Clarence Thomas's mama's house.
Wow.
It is, you know, she just, for no good reason. Like, what is it? I mean, you know, she lives somewhere in Okie Doke, fucking Alabama, you know, probably where, you know, outside of town where the ear doctor was like, you know, trying to apply his trade back in the day. But it's like, why is a billionaire buying the house, the mother's house of the Supreme Court judge? And how is that not a huge scandal worthy of telling this motherfucker he has to get off the goddamn Supreme Court? How is this like it's a blip on the screen? and then they just go back to business. You know what I mean? It's like he literally bought her for no good reason. How was that not influence peddling?
He was a very good friend of the Thomases, and he wanted to extend some of his benevolence and some of his appreciation for the good work that Clarence and Jenny have done over the years, Kamau. Keeping niggas down, making bitches have babies. I mean, this shit ain't easy, man.
Thomas, thank you so much. Here's another vacay for you. Here's another vacay. Here's a little private jet trip for you. Let me buy your mama's house for you.
Dog, he was sending the nigga to the Maldives, dog.
Yes.
Come on. Wow.
I don't understand how this is not. It's just that should be the biggest scandal in the government for a year. You know, and I don't want to be one of those if Trump did it, people, but come on now. Come on. How are we ignoring that this dude laid out literally millions of dollars?
The problem I was just going to say the people on the other side, the Democrats, I mean, they know they can't say shit because Ukraine was running Hunter Biden untoward millions of dollars.
You're going to get us a strike. When you talk about Hunter.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I feel like you can't talk about Hunter.
That's all the right wing talks about. They scream about Hunter Biden. Allegedly. Whatever, man. Whatever. Hunter Biden is in not Supreme Court, child support court, but that's another fuck that shit.
That's
anyway,
right. I heard that. I didn't. So maybe we can bring that story up later because I didn't get the deets on that one. I just saw a quick post in the New York Times about him and getting child support something. I was like, what the hell is going on with him? Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm going to give it to him. That is a working class family, B. They be getting in the same shit like everybody else.
Gotta go to child support court, man.
Mm-hmm. Obama's giving Biden advice on shit. He's like, look, B, you can't. Your family, they bringing you down. You are not doing it right. But anyway, let's get back to Herschel. So when Herschel Walker emailed a representative for billionaire industrialist and longtime family friend, they're always claiming they're longtime family friends too. Dennis Washington in March 2022, he seemed to be engaging in normal behavior for a political candidate. He was asking for money. But unbeknownst to Washington and the billionaire's staff, so they say, of course, Walker's request was far more out of the ordinary. It was something campaign finance experts are calling unprecedented, stunning, and jaw-dropping. Walker wasn't just asking for donations to his campaign. He was soliciting hundreds of thousands of dollars for his own personal company, a company that he never disclosed on his financial statements. Emails obtained by the Daily Beast and verified as authentic show that Walker, I said Hawker, that just should be his name, he was hawking, asked Washington to wire $535,000 directly to that undisclosed company, HR Talent LLC. What the hell is that? The emails revealed that not only did Washington complete Walker's wire request, how would somebody would wire me $500,000 off the bat? He was under the impression that these were in fact political contributions. It says, but Walker, who had been schooled on campaign finance rules since his campaign launched, according to a person involved in those conversations, appears to have dismissed the Washington teams, his lawyers, concerns that the money may have gone to the wrong place. When a third party informed a Washington company's executive that the money couldn't be used for political purposes, they raised the issue with Walker, asking at one point whether the funds should be redirected to super PAC supporting his candidacy. And it says Walker never contributed any of his own money to his campaign. Well, it says he really ain't got much. But according to the Federal Election Commission filings, it is unclear that what happened to these particular funds. He spent it. What do you mean? What happened to him?
He has some back child support to get caught
He's
up.
He's got a lot of that. And it says Walker was not allowed to solicit donations for the super PAC in excess of federal limits, which this amount of money explicitly was. But that was not McHugh's concern. It was worried about the hundreds of thousands of dollars his boss had wired to HR Talent in March. And then they asked, we need your assistance to get the prior contributions made to HR Talent account in March corrected. McHugh concluded in an email. And I assume that Walker did nothing. So I guess this is being investigated. Again, $500,000 on a whim were just sent to Walker, as opposed to his PAC or his super PAC. They were sent to his private company. There's an investigation now into where that money went, i.e. his pockets.
So the donation went, it went to a super PAC, not specifically.
No. Instead of going to a PAC, it went to his private. It's like he started an LLC, and he directed the money to his company. So he solicited. To be clear, he solicited it for a campaign contribution, which means it has to go. It should have went to his political campaign or a super PAC or something along those lines. But instead, the money, he told him to send the money to this company, and it's a private company owned by none other than Herschel Walker, which is completely illegal. He's soliciting donations, but instead of using it for his campaign, he had it sent to his business.
I respect the scam. I respect the. I'm all here for scamming billionaires. I mean, it is fuck Herschel all day and twice on Sundays. But if you scamming $500,000 out of billionaires, well done, well done, good job.
Until you get caught.
I wonder if he's gonna get like. I mean, this sounds illegal. Like I don't think you're supposed to do that. But I mean, who gonna say something? Is it the billionaire gonna bring charges? No, I doubt it. Maybe this is a federal election, FEC sort of investigation potentially.
Herschel, unlike Clarence Thomas, is low on the stock of Negroes to be buying. So I expect that there would be some follow up here, right? Whereas I feel like Clarence Thomas has a lot of protection. He's on the Supreme Court. He's part of the conservative infrastructure. They're going to look out for that dude. They're going to look out. And again, that's already become a story in sort of his rearview mirror, right? They said that, they're going to take care of their own. I think the Chief Justice Roberts came out and said, we're going to take care of our own standards and practice. Exactly. So that's his way of saying, mind your business. Yep. We all do it here, and you can't remove us anyway. So what you gonna do? And we're not resigning, so nothing. Herschel, on the other side, he ain't got that kind of protection.
You can impeach a Supreme Court justice, right? I mean, you can't.
I don't think you can.
I think you can.
No.
Like, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
If they're permanent. Maybe somebody in the chat can help us out here, but they're appointed for life. I'm not sure if they can be impeached.
I think they can be. I mean, but fuck American government. I don't know.
Has it ever happened?
Now I got to go to Google. I
don't know. Google.
I thought you could impeach a Supreme Court justice. Baby, I may be
no, wrong. Maybe you're right. We'll let the chat decide. I'm not up on my Supreme Court rules, regulate or that part of the Constitution. Maybe it is. But it's at the Supreme Court. Someone said you can. It said, well, if you can, obviously they won't have the votes to do it since the House is controlled by the Republicans. Mm-hmm. And someone is saying procedure is very complicated. So maybe there is a way to impeach. Not that it's going to happen here, but maybe there is a way to impeach. That's more than I knew. I know they're appointed for life, but they must have maybe it's similar to impeaching the president, where you got to have a certain amount of Congress to do the impeachment and have the votes. In this particular case, it says President Lincoln did it. Lincoln impeached somebody. Yeah, we're gonna need somebody to come up here and give us a little history lesson.
Interesting. Yeah.
But Herschel is not that well protected, which is my you know what I mean? Like he's not got. Who's gonna protect Herschel? Trump?
I mean, but when do you see these Black Republicans get caught up in shit, really? I mean, they might get caught up in a little media scandal, but when does it ever result in investigation?
Low level. He's low level. He's a low-level Republican.
I mean, yes and no, because Herschel is still a celebrity. And we know how infatuated people are with celebrity and, athlete, and Herschel's in the Hall of Fame, right? He's a Hall of Fame NFL running back.
Oh, yeah. Herschel might have been at one point there was a possibility that he would have been the all-time great in college football. He held all the records at one point in terms of total rushing yards and everything. He was like, he was a godly figure on the football field. So he's got that. But OJ came down. You know what I mean? It's not like undone. It's not like
OJ killed 2 people though to come out.
What's more valuable, 2 white lives or $500,000? I mean,
just wasn't playing funny with the money. OJ killed 2 people out here.
He didn't steal no money from a billionaire though. You gotta weigh. What's more important? What's more important to white people?
Man,
you know what I'm saying? 2 working class white lives, $500,000. I think that $500,000.
Thank you, Zenzi Bell. Zenzi Bell ran us some bucks with some information saying that impeach does not mean bring charge. It just means bring charges. It does not mean
remove.
Yeah.
But if they can impeach at that, I would assume if they have an impeachment, that also means that there's going to be a mechanism to remove. Whether or not they would have the votes to do it is another question. Similar to the impeachment of Trump. Trump was impeached twice, but he wasn't removed from office because they didn't have the votes in Congress to remove post-impeachment. So if the audience is correct, and you are correct, it sounds like in theory, the justice can be impeached. But again, whether or not that impeachment actually leads to the removal of office is like a step 2, because then there's a vote. And in this case, the impeachment would come from the House, and the Republicans are in control of the House. And so it's highly unlikely that the Republican House would do anything but look the other way on this, because they're not going to impeach the person who helps give them their supermajority in terms of running Supreme Court. The skim internet went out. Is that what happened?
So you was talking about history. So I'm here.
Okay.
But it's a lot of things going on, man. She might have said something that people ain't like, and we tried to warn her. You tried to warn her.
I was like, you can't talk about Hunter.
Oh man, allegedly.
They control the internet.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna let her get her stuff back together. And you know what? I'm DJing the event tonight. It is here for it's a scholarship gala. We're gonna have Big Tigger is gonna be MCing. We got Dr. Greg Carr. He's gonna be doing a presentation. We got Steve Left Hand Lewis, and we basically giving out a bunch of scholarship money to a bunch of young brothers that need it. So
that is fantastic.
Yeah,
I got one too. Since this is taking a place of a break or whatever like that.
All right, let me stop that.
So I have not been pushing this the way I should, but I'm gonna have to start pushing this. So we are doing June 23rd to June 25th, a National Black Radical Organizing Conference here in Atlanta. You see the location, the registration information. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. If you go to communitymovementbuilders.org. Look, this will be the first and National Black Radical Organizing Conference in a number of years. We already got folks, ex-political prisoners, Panthers, historians who are going to be coming out. Dr. Ball is coming out. We got Jaleel Matakeen is coming out. Dr. CBS is coming out. We got folks in the chat. We got Ricky Ryan coming to the ball. We got folks from the West Coast who are coming. So we are gathering folks from all over the radical Black world and within the United States and maybe internationally. We got Mamira Prosper from Haiti coming. So we have all of these folks, both practitioners, academics, organizers, to come together June 23rd to the 25th here in Atlanta to talk about which way forward for us in terms of our struggle and for radical politics. It is a low price. We're only like having $25 a registration fee. I know I said that did sound kind of like you.
Like you were selling cars. Sound like you was
As I said it, I was like,
low price. Come on in, everybody. We got you.
It was like Crazy Eddie back in the day. This way back in the day. I know Crazy Eddie.
We're insane.
So 23rd to 25th, you know, it's old fashioned. So, you know, we're going to give y'all some food. But, you know, we're telling folks to come on out by hook or crook, you know, sleep in your car, get a hotel, find a floor. We're going to give you some, you know, we have the hotel, which we may move, the place where we're going to do it at.
Whole hotel?
But so we're going to block off some rooms for folks to all be together. This is going to be a fantastic gathering of organizers, activists, again, different folks within the Black revolutionary world. I think we're going to, as long as everything works out right, Brother DeRuba might be coming down. So we expect to have a full house of like 200. Already we've got 85 people. We're 2 months away. We haven't even done a lot of advertisement yet. We already got 85 folks who are signed up to come down. We're trying to do a cap of about 200 people. But we want everybody who's been organizing, activists, punditry, academics, and the rest of it. We want to have a large, big conference, radicalized, talking about which way forward for us as a people, and how can we develop unity and fight for self-determination within a pan-African framework. So come on down.
Dope. Maybe I'm a little late to education, but what does punditry mean?
You just talk shit. Somebody who gets paid to talk on issues, to opinion. Yeah, exactly what we're doing right now.
Thank you, Miss Franklin.
Oh, you can hear in the back? You heard her in the back? Okay, my
bad. Is Kim back?
Yeah, that's Kim.
Working? Right, I don't know if the mic's working though.
Oh, the mic ain't working?
You gonna talk, Kim? Nope, it ain't.
Nope. Wow. Can't hear a word you're saying.
Wow.
Oh, I heard that. Ooh, I heard that though. I heard that.
So keeping with things that's going on, you want to let them know what's going on this Monday at 6 p.m.?
Yep. So Monday at I gotta get a flyer up. Wait a minute. Let me get the flyer up for that too.
Flyer up. We got a real dope one coming in, a Black Power Media special this Monday at 6 p.m. Go ahead and Kim, see if we can hear you. Nope, we can't.
So we have a Black Power Media special being hosted here on the platform. Can y'all see that? Can they see that?
Yep.
Did it pop up?
Yep.
So a Black abolitionist view on Cop City with Dr. Angela Davis. As folks know, several months ago now, Ms. Davis came to Atlanta as part of the Rodney Conference. They gave her an award. Someone from the city council gave her an award. The audience jumped up and started saying, "Stop Cop City," directed towards the city council person. And I think Ms. Davis was caught a little bit off guard. And then when she did her own research and she found out more about it, she felt terrible because she felt like she should have said something at the moment. And, you know, through other folks, she got in touch with us. Ricky saying that was last month. It felt like several months ago, Ricky. There's a lot of things happening in my world. She got in touch with us and other organizers and has since put out a video statement, returned the proclamation given by the city and the award, and is going to cap it all off with helping to support, get the word out again about Cop City by being a part of a panel that we're having, which is going to feature Community Movement Builders' very own Jasmine Burnett, our organizing director. It's going to be facilitated by M. Adams, and other panelists are going to be involved also. So we think this is going to be a very special conversation on abolitionist view on Cop City. It's happening this Monday, May 8th at 6 p.m. exclusively here on Black Power Media. So you should check it out, hear about the abolitionist view of Cop City, and let's keep it moving. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me
all levels of Black Power, very different sectors, organizations, the spectrum of ideological debate, all that you get right here on Black Power Media. Sorry,
talk that. Can we hear Kim yet? Kim, is your mic working yet? Nope, it's not. All right, so we got ladies first on it. It's a beautiful cover right there. We got all the ladies coming through. We have what? We're gonna have Angela Davis. We had Cornell West, Dr. Carr. Who else? We done had a lot of people here on this station.
Me.
Doctor.
I'm extremely important in terms of Black. You know.
You are. You know what? You are.
Dr. Joy James.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, we run the gambit of, like, you know, a lot of Black intellectual thought. Again, not just academics, but folks on the ground organizing in grassroots communities. We do what we do here. We do what we do. That's why we need y'all support, to make sure that Kim's mic is working, and make sure that people who there you go.
Oh, she's back. Is she?
I was over here cussing y'all. Y'all couldn't even hear me.
No. Well, we can see your mouth moving though. We understood that there were some words, some explicatives being dealt out.
What'd you say there? Come out, doctor. What was that?
Oh, what is it? Not explicatives. Explicatives. No.
It's explicatives.
That's what I said.
Expletives. New York and New Jersey. I don't know. Is that how New Yorkers pronounce explicatives? Explicatives.
I think you're right. Damn. Okay, I had a moment.
Well, I was gonna get it wrong, so ain't no surprise.
Come out.
Once you said the same word I said, I knew I was wrong. Once you pronounced it the same exact way, I was like, damn, I got it wrong.
Come out, we gotta sub you out. Let's sub in the smartest person in your household. Where's your wife at? Tell her to come over here and have and chat with us and give us her opinions. We want to hear from the smartest.
She keeps threatening. No, she is very smart, smarter than I am. That's no doubt. You know what? Because she's also a lawyer, and we have this running thing where I studied my ass off the LSATs to get into law school, and she studied for like a week and a half. She claims she studied longer, but I was there. Let the record show. She studied like a week and a half on that shit and got almost double my score.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I didn't appreciate it at all. Well, it was a jealousy factor.
Wow.
I bet it was.
So she did twice as well as you did and put in a fraction of the effort. Wow.
A fraction of the effort.
Hey, Kim, he hit her with the congratulations.
Exactly. And then went to a law school that wouldn't even accept me.
Oh, shit.
With NYU.
Hey, and then took her out for dinner for congratulations, and she paid the bill.
I'm trying to think if I had money back then.
She's like,
I did. That's right. I had money back. I had some money back then because I was practicing law, but I wasn't really making a number of money.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take a break. See if we can take a quick break.
Oh God.
Right here.
Oh boy.
Right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. That's right. If you ever want to hire the ear doctor to come to your town and lay it down, listen, get at me. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to get in contact with me, no problem. Just get in contact with me at no other than eardoctormusic1@gmail.com. And I'll come to your town and lay it down. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and get back to our Remix Morning crew. You know how we do on the Remix Morning Show.
These are the worst segues ever. These commercials. I mean, I don't understand what the hell is happening. This is terrible.
This man is making magic out of dust over here, Kamal. Somebody came in and sabotaged us on the back end. And look at what Ear Doctor's managing to do on the fly. You're such a hater, man.
He's putting up commercials for himself. What do you mean on the fly? He's putting up commercials.
That's all the videos I got on my computer. What do you want from me? I've been up here trying to figure this thing out all morning.
You got the basketball computer or the football one? You got none of those commercials on your
First of all, let me do this right.
Oh.
Give it up for our other host, no other than Coco. There we go.
Oh, what up, Coco?
Peace. What's going on, everyone? Is my mic working?
It is
working. But you leaning in a little close there, yeah. Stop leaning in like that. Yeah, that's
First of all, can you hear me? Is it good?
You're doing all like that. Yeah, that's too much leaning. Yeah,
you sound brilliant.
Yeah, you got a lot to say, Kamal, all the time.
Get him.
That's my job, dude. It's my job. My job is to help
blowing me up. I was in the chat.
I was like, why is she in the chat?
See,
you were driving, right?
You was thinking it too.
Well, yeah, I get, there's red lights. Sometimes I gotta
Wait a
get
minute.
my son in the car,
light,
wait
you
for
dropping
him
emojis?
Come out.
At least I'm not driving and texting. I could be driving and texting. It could be.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
So do you be throwing your children out the window like Kamal does on the way to school, Coco?
A boosh.
They gotta get out. They gotta get out.
No, it's definitely a nice drop off. I go in the classroom. I say hi to the teachers. I take his jacket. I do all of that.
You go into class and take the jacket off?
Yeah, I say hi to all the kids. I do all of that.
Mm-hmm. I barely know my kids' teachers' name.
I was about to say.
Yeah, they're just like, it's that white lady right there.
That's not much.
Yeah, I was like, that's that white lady, right?
Hey, come out. What's the last PTA meeting you been to?
Never that.
We're terrible. We're terrible. I know Coco be at the PTA meetings, like first bringing snacks and everything.
I probably would join those. Yes, I would. so I could be. You got to be on top of these schools. The way they're educating and the way they're not educating. They be on some reckless shit. So you got to get on top of that.
But Kamal and Ear Doctor thinks that's the kid's mother's job to be on that kind of shit.
Trying to put the V in there like she's from mother.
Mother.
Your mother and your mother.
I actually agree with you. Yes, you're right. That's how it operates in our household.
Yeah. I know it.
Is it really?
And that part is true. That part is a little true.
That's right.
But I do the dropping off and most of the picking up.
That's right. We do the hard work. Women are the nurturers. They go in there and do all the nurturing. Oh.
Listen, I do all the work. I don't got nobody. So it's
There's that.
I do all the work. Okay.
Look, I knew what kind of time it was at Kamal house when the baby was came on the camera hawking up a lung. And I said, little baby, Caleb, I said, is your daddy going to get you some tears and soup? And Caleb told the truth. Caleb said, no, my mommy does that. My daddy threw a jar of vapor rub at me and told me to walk the shit off.
Damn.
Yeah, he's
I'm
good.
toasting at it.
Gotta get tough. Yeah, he's gotta get tough. No, I mean, they're not living that tough lifestyle. So you gotta figure out ways to toughen them up. You know what I'm saying? Get them antibodies up. That's all.
I guess.
Well, Coco, I know you have some news for us, beloved, because
I do. I don't know how to share my screen, so I guess I would have to email.
You can email me, or if you go down to present at the bottom of the screen, you see that? Or present? Not present.
But I don't know what's gonna pop up on my screen.
Or you can leave it, or where it says private chat on the side, you can drop the link in there.
Oh, that's perfect.
Ear Doctor's very helpful with the production on the back end. Hey, remixers, we appreciate you guys being patient with us this morning. We were a bit hamstrung with the sabotagery that has happened to us on the back end. So big up to the remixers in the chat. Please be sure to give the video a thumbs up What we rocking at? Are we even touching that 300 even close? Or
261. We've been up to 270. We may get up to 300. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
We may get up there.
I was blown away that we had over 350 people watching us live yesterday. I said, where these new people come from? where y'all come from? But we appreciate you being here. If you're new to Black Power Media, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is where you get all the good Black radical programming, information, training. Shout out to Brother Balagoon with Warrior Class and everybody else that be doing the thing on the BPM platform.
Okay, we're just going in any order I see. You're just going in any order I see.
Oh, that's what you gave me. I thought that's what you put in the chat.
That's not the one you wanted? I gave it in. No, that's not the order. But it's okay. It's okay. I mean, this is all. This is the point, though. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, this week we just saw a lot of vigilante, you know, white supremacists, white men, basically just take action into their own hands in public. In this situation, in this story, you know, there was two Black women, young Black women who were, you know, walking out of TJ Maxx. And I guess, you know, there's this debate of whether or not they were stealing, whether or not they purchased something. But I guess in the video, you'll see the white man pretty much slamming. He just is at the door and he just decided to, you know, slam the Black woman, you know, down in order for him to stop her from supposedly stealing, you know. And so it just, I think even after recently, there was a young man who was shot in the head, right, for you know, just going to someone's house and knocking on someone's house. And as we see, I guess, you know, we could say that vigilante, you know, white supremacists who take things into their own hands are out here. And, you know, if you could see on the video, a little bit of violence, if we play the video.
I get the hint. I was trying. It was like a big commercial.
Stop stealing. A lot. Don't touch me. Watch the fuck up. A woman needs to get involved. Take her down. Let me go. Let me go. Let her go. Let her go. Let me go. What the fuck? Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let her go. Hey, bitch, up. Hey, let me go. I'm so shame. Let me go. Shame. Let me go. Go. I'm so shame. Are you okay? You okay? Okay. Are you okay?
See, if I were to be accosted and attacked by a grown man in public, see, that's when the knives come out and your dumbass gets stabbed. And then you would have wondered why you was out here playing Vigilante and Captain Saberho for fucking TJ Maxx. Oh my God. Like somebody would have been severely injured. That's all I can say. Had a man touched me in that way, it's time to ratchet it up. That is so infuriating. You know, Coco, Jackie talked about this yesterday on By Any Means Necessary, and I don't know, I'm not sure where the reporting came from, but apparently these women actually were not stealing. Well, regardless, if they wasn't, nobody deserves to be accosted and assaulted by anybody. The fucking security wouldn't even have did somebody like that. But from what Jackie reported yesterday is that these women, in fact, were not stealing. They had so many items that some of them had to be carried out in the way that we saw in the video. Where did this happen? Did this happen in California?
I don't know. I don't know. This was, yeah, I don't see where. Well, California. Yep.
So Kamal, when it comes to self-defense and use of force, if a man attacks a woman, can she stab him and be in? I mean, this doesn't have to be formal.
I've never quite heard it put like that before. If so, obviously, you know, you have stand your ground laws, you have self-defense laws. So if somebody obviously walks up to you, and you have laws in which a lot of laws which allows bystanders to try to attempt to stop a so-called criminal activity, right? And again, that's not saying that that's what was happening here. And they also, there's, you know, laws that you don't have to, right? So there's some famous cases where folks have seen people drowning or whatever and have not intervened. And then the question becomes whether or not they are at all liable for that happening because they did nothing. And so courts, for the most part, have ruled that, of course, you don't have to jump in. You don't have to stop something from happening. You don't have to prevent certain things from taking place. So there's no law whatsoever that would make this person act in a vigilante way and say, like, I have to be super white man and protect corporate America because someone has yelled out that they're taking something and I'm going to jump in. And so the fact that they did jump in, and if it turns out again that they jumped in and stopped somebody who wasn't doing anything, then that person also has a right to self-defense, right? So if someone is grabbing on you, and as you said, if they're grabbing and pulling and pushing on you and you have something on you to protect yourself from being harmed, you can certainly at that point use it, right? There's always, you know, there's always a consideration when the law is working properly, as usually it doesn't. But when it's working properly, it's like, then what's the what is the amount of force you can use to stop an attack from happening? And I think this may play into some of the other stories. I'm not sure we're going to bring it up or not around the chokehold in Brooklyn. But what is the, and again, I think there's different circumstances when we start talking about that. But there's always the case of like, what can you do if someone is threatening you or someone has put their hands on you, but it's not with, it's not like an endangering your life situation. Can you then use life-threatening force in retaliation? And the answer to it, again, according to most courts, of course, it's not. But that's going to be left up to interpretation of whether or not somebody, you know, the lawyers will drum up things around how someone felt that they were scared for their life and so forth and so on. So all of that stuff is brought into, but basically, of course, you have a right to defend yourself. It used to be before stand your ground laws, however, that short of life-threatening violence being potentially being used against you, that your duty was to retreat, except for when you're in your home. So as opposed to you being able to stand your ground and say, hey, I'm going to fight back, someone just like jumped in front of you and saying, I'm going to beat your ass. Your job was to leave the situation. It wasn't necessarily that you could stand your ground and fight, that your job was to leave the situation, except of course when it's life-threatening force and or if it's involving someone coming into your home with the castle doctrine and so forth and so on.
I don't know, when it's a man on woman violence, I think any woman should have the expectation that their life is in danger. Like just by default of physiology and biology, a man is stronger than you. You know what I'm saying? Even if you a big gal, you know what I'm saying? Even little man stronger than big gal sometimes. So I would be in fear for my life. I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of those women. And he's blocking the door. He's preventing them from leaving. So how could they have a duty to retreat if their attacker is blocking the exit, right? I'm just saying, like, I just know, I can't speak to 100% what I would have done in that situation, but I'm not trying to go toe to toe with some man with fists. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's a knives out situation. Anytime a strange man in public puts his hands on me, I am instantly in fear for my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, in this situation, you know, I worked in retail for like over 20 years, you know, and I just know, like, even when listening to the video, you hear a lot of the employees speaking out like, oh, they, you know, whatever they could have done. Right. And I think even myself, you know, I go into stores all the time and I get followed. Right. There's always, and even remembering working in retail, there's always this assumed guilt before there actually is any type of action, right? And so employees and businesses are liable. You know, you cannot block people from leaving. You cannot stop people from leaving the store. Only when they leave the store can you actually accuse anybody of stealing, right? And so even in this case, you know, the first thing I thought about was like, damn, that's a lawsuit, right? Like, first of all, like she, you know, should have never been stopped. They should have never been stopped. They should have never, nobody should have ever notified anybody about it until after they get out the store. And if they had stolen, then, you know, obviously I'm not advocating for, you know, you know, call the police or none of that. But I'm just saying that these are rules that a lot even the employees are supposed to follow, right? You're not supposed to apprehend anybody. Who gives anybody the right to do so? And then we're talking about corporations, right? Like, who's really, like, what are we protecting? And obviously, like in this case, the white man feels like, he can, do, and that's also the funny part, right? Like when you're on like social media, you see a lot of people, in the comments saying how he did it right. He did everything right. Like this was supposed to happen. Like more people need to be, stopped like this. And, you see a lot of these comments online, and a lot of people believe and think like this, just like this white man did. Right. And so you imagine how many other people are faced with this problem with, again, vigilantes thinking that they can just, stop people and do what they want and, harm and tackle people, which leads me into the next story, which was, obviously the subway incident in New York. And, for me, obviously, riding the subway, there's a lot of people that are on the trains that have different, personalities, different, situations, all kinds of different things, right? Even this young man who was murdered on the train the other day, I used to see him on the platform on 34th Street. He used to always be harassed by the pigs. I used to always see him performing right there on the F and the D line. And, it's so sad when you hear, because I saw the video and the photo, and I didn't know it was him until you saw everyone who, was posting about who he was. And after seeing who he was, I was like, wow, I used to pass this man all the time, on 34th Street. And to me, it's just wild that, someone who is a young Marine, obviously trained by the United States in the, the Marines, and feeling that somebody who is yelling that he's hungry, right? You're gonna put him in a chokehold? What kind of who does that, right? Like you just kill somebody because they're yelling, because they're hungry, because they appear to be houseless, they appear to be, a little, angry or whatever they have going on for that day, and you're just gonna put them in a chokehold. And then you have other people who are assisting in the murder, right? And then on top of that, the very next day, or the same day, the police and the newspapers are all justifying the fact that this man murdered somebody on the train as if he did the right thing. Even the governor was saying yesterday that some people, have to, their actions matter and what they do matters, like as if because he was yelling, you just never know, you might just get murdered. Like, no, that's not how things go. So this story really hurt me. I feel like this was just a really wake up call that there are a lot of people out here that are willing and capable of just murdering people just for a simple fact. And obviously the pigs who are overly funded will not do anything about it. Obviously, this man was not arrested. There was no charges brought upon this man. And I think even yesterday they were protesting in New York over the situation. And obviously there's plenty of funding to, block protesters, arrest protesters, but there is no funding to actually, show some form of justice, which we already know justice is not possible in the system. For this man who was murdered, and on camera was murdered, right? 15
exactly
minutes in a
right,
chokehold.
Yeah. I mean, so they still haven't arrested the perpetrator, but they've now arrested dozens of protesters.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes, they've arrested dozens of protesters who've been protesting the fact of what happened. And it's only after the videotape got released that some of these elected officials have backtracked on some of their statements and or saying the same thing around, oh, there's a larger investigation happening, we have to take our time with the facts.
Bullshit.
At what point does somebody get to kill somebody and then go home and not be charged in the United States, right? When they're a white man killing a black person, that's when it gets to happen, right? When they're a white person attempting to quote unquote subdue a black person, that's when it gets to happen. And that, like you said, like, anybody who's rid the trains in New York, yeah, there's shit that happens. I mean, just to be real with it, like there's folks because of the lack of mental health services, because of the lack of support that folks get in terms of like the homeless situation in New York. There's going to be people who act out, who are, and sometimes are threatening and do say things, but he didn't put his hands on anybody.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't touch anybody. He didn't make a move towards anybody. He said some fucked up shit and stood there. And then this dude decides he's going to play G.I. Joe hero and jumps on him and brings him down and puts him basically in an MMA move, like he's practicing MMA moves on this dude, and chokes him out for literally 3 minutes. And it's, you know, and again, the people on the subway stand, somebody who's filming it, and they're filming it, and someone is even suggesting that like you're choking this dude out, and then this other guy, who I'm not sure if he was black or not, is like holding down his hands. It's like, oh no, he's not choking him. He's not choking him.
God.
He's not choking him. As you can see, the dude being choked out, literally being choked out. His legs stop moving, and only then do they jump up, and then they do something like they try to lift his legs up in the air, as if that, you know, in an attempt to, I guess, maybe get some more air to his body. But it's far too late. They choked him out for like, well, at least the video, someone is saying in the chat, it was 15 minutes. The video that was shown shows at least 3 minutes of that entirety of the action. And then and this dude gets to go home. He gets interviewed by the police. He justifies what he did by saying what? Oh, he was yelling at us. We felt intimidated. So I had to jump on him and choke him out. So that, you know, at this, and like you said, people are now protesting, and it's one of these things. Without these videos that gets to show what's happening, people would ignore it, and the only story you would have would be the story of the person who's actually killed somebody. So only because of this video do we have the potential, and now people actually marching and demonstrating in the streets is the only way to get any form of justice whatsoever in this case. You have to go through so much to even get a monochrome of justice in terms of having the so-called authorities look into this in a serious manner to suggest that someone who goes around choking people out should face some sort of hearing, some inquiry, something that says that what they did should not be allowed, and potentially there should be some punishment to stop other people from thinking it's open season on people with mental illnesses or who are homeless. But that's where we're at.
The young man apparently said his name is Jordan Neely. 30-year-old Jordan Neely is the victim here. The New York Times spoke to a witness, and Jordan was reported to have said, "I don't have food. I don't have a drink. I'm fed up." He also went on to say, screaming while he was on the train, "I don't mind going to jail and getting life in prison. I'm ready to die." I mean, obviously, the words of a person that is experiencing severe mental distress. And I saw a lot of people, and I'm glad Coco and Kamau are here. Maybe you guys can contextualize this for us, but I saw folks comparing this to Bernie Getz, the armed vigilante who he murdered a couple of people and disabled some by shooting them on the train because he claimed that he felt intimidated or felt threatened. And going back to what you were talking about, Kamau, is there any accountability when a person murders another person on the street? And when it comes to the white and black dynamic, no, because for the majority of this country's history, it is not against the law for white people to murder black people. Not against the law at all. You know, black people are barely human, 3/5 of a person. Why would a white person face any sort of accountability for just murdering a black person? I mean, that is what white folks are entitled. That's what they have the right and the power to do in America. And it's these kind of incidences continually that remind us of this. But y'all, I mean, does this ring Bernie Getz bells to New Yorkers?
I mean, I would say yes, right? If folks, you know, this is, oh my God, like 25, 30, 35 years ago, whatever. But Bernie Getz was on the subway, had a gun on him. No one knew at the time. Young kids were walking up to folks, panhandling or asking for money, maybe even teasing people, right? And Bernie Getz says he feels intimidated by that, and then pulls out a gun and starts shooting. And not only does he shoot like directly at them in terms of getting them to scatter or run away, or shooting to kill them, he stands over somebody and says, you look like you need more, or you look like you haven't had enough, and then shoots them in the back. And again, the local media, the elected officials, the politicians, at first praised Bernie Getz, praised him. It wasn't tried, but he was praised for his acts and what he did, and given and basically, essentially given a walk down Times Square in terms of a celebratory parade, the way they treated Bernie Getz. And it was only later, years later, right, where again more information dripped out. You could see the impact of what happened, the fact that they shot somebody in the back. It was only years later that the narrative began to change to make some clarity over the fact that this wasn't an act of someone defending themselves, but this was an act of someone with a gun trying to show that they wouldn't be, quote, in their mind at least, that they wouldn't be intimidated, who then decided to take that gun and not only shoot these young people, but again, stand over them and shoot them in the back.
Coco, were you old enough to remember that?
I to be honest with you, I was old enough, but I don't really, my memory is shot, so you can't ask me anything that happened that long ago. I'm just saying.
No worries.
But, at the end of the day, there is a legacy, right? And even in New York, like, you have a lot of, I think that is, just in this country alone, you have a lot of that, again, vigilante, where people feel we should stand up against, things that we, that are wrong or what we don't like. But then you have a group of people that will just do that just because they don't like your attitude or they don't like how you look or how you sound. And again, that is the class issue that happens, especially in New York. There's a class issue, right? Of if you do not fit into this mold that they want you to fit into, you are going to be criminalized. Just like if you are sleeping on the train, you're criminalized. Just like if you are, dancing on the train, you have a lot of kids who are dancers on the train. Showtime, which is what we call them, is what they do. And again, they all become criminalized. You have people who are in the trains that are workers that, are selling foods or different, and they're undocumented. And again, that's criminalized, right? And so it's and so when somebody attacks these individuals, it is seen as something commendable, right? Because you're helping to clean New York up. And I think that's what Mayor Adams, Pig Mayor Adams, I should always say, is constantly wants people to help clean the city up, right? And so they want people to engage in these types of acts, right? They won't actually come out and say it, but they'll, create the conditions for that. And I think it's up to us to really question those things and really question the intent, right, of what it means to criminalize people in the trains for, everyday lives that people live, right? Like, the train is where you go all day. Like, you're riding the train to school, you're riding the train to work, you're riding the train to your families. That's everybody goes into the train, right? And so, like, you become criminalized the minute you go into the train. Even after 9/11, at some point, they started checking bags, right? Where you have to go in the train. If you have a bag, they can stop you, right? And then they can check your bag, right? And that's the, and if you don't want to get checked, you just can't ride the train, right? Like, these are things that the tactics that they, continuously implore, like even, the tickets that you get if you hop the turnstile, just so many things that they're doing, consistently. And you have a lot of people who are willing to intervene, everyday people, and they applaud it, right? They will applaud it just for that. And I think that's the, the conditions they create, which is the problem.
Yeah, and really quickly, that's the thing, that the city will spend an extreme amount of resources to do exactly what you said, Coco, which is to put DTs, undercover cops, to stop people from jumping the trains, right? To give them tickets, to punish them. That's where they'll put resources at, right? But no resources of any real amount will be put into services for people who are houseless, who are asking for money on the train, or people who are doing dance routines and doing magic shows and the rest of it, who obviously need resources. And so instead of solving the problems of people who need resources, they do exactly what Coco said. They criminalize them, and they provide the only resource they provide them is a night in jail and a bologna sandwich, right? That's how we solve our houseless problem, not only in New York, but across this country, is that you put folks in jail. And sometimes folks don't mind being put in jail because they're like, at least I'll have a place to stay, right? And I'll get a bologna sandwich, which is more than I'll get on the outside. Because if I ask somebody for money or food, I'm either discarded, I'm looked at as a threat, or potentially now I could be hurt. So half the time, how we solve these problems is that we put them, not even half the time, 2/3 of the time, is that we lock people up and then forget about them. And that's where, that's the part of the sickness of this society. It creates the conditions for this stuff to happen, and thinks the only solution to it is then to lock people up and/or now to kill people and to applaud it because they were houseless or they were mentally ill at the particular time when something like this went down.
I mean, the other very disturbing part about this entire story is that people sat around and watched this happen. I mean, this young man was literally lynched on a public train. Somebody filmed it. Somebody else helped the lynching. And a lot of other people just stood there and watched the shit happen. And when it was clear that Jordan was unresponsive, it doesn't appear, at least I haven't read any reports, that anybody tried to render him aid. No one tried to help him. And that is almost as heartbreaking as the fact that he was murdered over being loud on the train, basically because white people was afraid and made uncomfortable. That's almost as worse as the actual murder itself, that nobody gave a fuck enough about this human being, this very desperate individual who was obviously literally screaming for help. I don't have food. I don't have drink. Like, how you can't interpret that anything less than a fellow human crying out because they are not getting the basics of which they need to survive. And nobody helped him. Somebody helped the fucking murderer, but nobody helped the victim. And when I read the piece in the New York Times about this, the New York Times really pissed me off because they spent 2 paragraphs at the end of the story talking about the rise on crime on the train. The rise on crime. Crime has gone up 16% on the train. And it's like, well, who are you referencing here with these statistics? Are you referencing Jordan, the street performer who had a bad day and was being loud and making white folks uncomfortable? Or are we talking about the actual murderer? Because there's a murder that took place on this train. And whatever Jordan was doing was not criminal. So when we talk about these crime statistics, New York Times, who the fuck are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Are you going to add that dude in on the crime? Right.
Thank you.
And I'll be honest with you. I used to ride the train. I used to fall asleep on the train. I mean, I used to work and get off at 5 a.m. and be on the train and have to travel, and go on the train at 5 a.m. I'm going to say I've been through a lot, right? But when we talk about, falling asleep, nobody ever bothered me on the train when I fell asleep, and I would ride from one end to the next, through boroughs and all of that, and a lot of people, like it is just not that, it really is not that, right? And so they try to hype up a lot of things, and I'm not saying that, situations don't happen, right? I mean, the conditions are created for so-called crime to exist, right? But it's really not that, right? Like, I don't think, they have backtracked a lot of statements over the past year about this so-called crime that actually exists in New York City, on the trains in New York City, period, right? And they continuously try to hype it up and then have to retract everything that they continue to say because it's simply not true. These statistics are false. The newspapers and the media, they all hype it up, and it's all false. It's always false. And it comes out, you have a lot of independent media journalists that are in New York that are constantly working to, squash a lot of this because, and that's important, right? Because at the end of the day, it's simply not true. And they just always want to just justify the fact that we need more cops in the trains. We need more cops in the trains. We don't need, and period. The cops do not make anybody safe. And clearly, in this case, the cops are not doing nothing. They're not doing nothing.
We had I remember a couple of incidents in, like, some dude who was, who's wilding a little bit. He was yelling, he was screaming. You know what people did? They moved to the other side of the fucking train. And it's like the dude didn't do anything. It's like they just moved to the side. Dude was having an episode. No one tried to grab him and chokehold him and put him down. I remember one time also was on the train, and this black woman and white woman, sometimes things get a little touchy. And I don't know who to blame was, but this white woman kept popping off at the mouth, and she put her hands on. The black woman took her down, and so we got up, and I was like, intervene, and was like, sis, you got this. You got this. You got to let go, because they're going to call the cops, and she let go, and it's like, you got to get off the train, and she got off the train, right? And then lastly, I remember this is doing after Obama one. I was, it was one of those late night things where, coming home, I was sitting, some woman walked over. You could see, like, there was hardly anybody on the train. She sat two seats away from me, and she looked at me. She's like, you think you're the motherfucking shit, don't you? He's like, think you Obama. You think you Obama. You know what I did? I looked up fucking straight ahead. And I was just like, I'm not even engaged. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not engaging. Why would you? I'm not engaging. She's obviously having, everybody did think I looked like Obama. I just understand that. But I wasn't engaging. I just sat there and I was like, yo, just chill. There's no reason. What am I do? Jump up and start challenging her? Like, I am the motherfucking shit. Like, what does that say about me, right? Somebody's having an episode. You chill. You chill.
And let's just say what's really violent is the gentrification. What's really violent is all of the people that are pushing into the boroughs, and it's making it unlivable. That's what's violent, right? And so I think the problem is that people don't understand what real violence is, and they have this like misunderstanding of what's violent, right? Violent is gentrification. That's the problem, right? A lot of people, like, I'm sure this Marine, I want to know where he's from. They won't even share his name, but I want to know where he's from. Are you from New York? At the end of the day, I don't think he is. You can't be. And especially
that they won't share his name, that they won't put his name out. He's committed an act caught on videotape, and they're not sharing his name. They'll share the name of every other victim / perpetrator, but somehow now they're protecting this person who killed somebody on camera.
We had a similar story, kind of, out of DC. This was recently. This was this year, where a 12-year-old who was allegedly breaking into cars in the neighborhood was murdered, shot and killed by a homeowner whose name had not was being withheld by the police for weeks. And the residents of DC were furious that the police were protecting this person. And it turned out that this person was actually an employee of the DC government, a black man, but he has subsequently been charged with, I believe, second-degree murder. But because I think of his position and his status as a property owner in DC and as an employee of the DC government, the police protected his name for several weeks. And it's like, when the fuck did the cops do that? Like, if it's a so-called black on black, shooting or whatever, some young brubs in the street, as soon as they catch up with whoever they believe did the shooting, they arrested. Ain't no long drawn out investigation process. Ain't no gotta go to the grand jury and this, that, and the third. They lock niggas up for murder, period, point blank, all the time. And the amount of protection that this white Marine, and did you guys watch the video? Coco, you saw the video? I could not bring myself to watch it.
I watched 3 minutes.
And from what the descriptions that I read, that this son of a bitch was grinning. Was he smiling as this was happening?
I couldn't necessarily see that. I just saw that he had the choke, and then he was trying to lock the legs. It was like an MMA, takedown, and somebody else was holding down his hands. There was some white woman standing around, and some other dude who was standing real close by. They might have all been. I don't have no idea if these guys were together or not. Mm-hmm. But and again, someone said that it was like about 15 minutes. The video was 3 minutes, and it was obvious that this dude was applying a chokehold, and that the guy's legs were becoming limp. And none of the people who were right there on top of him, I think somebody who was filming it was saying something like, "You choking him," and again, somebody was saying, "No, he's not choking him." But it's like you could see the guys that, you know, at some point they got a little close on the face. You could see the eyes fluttering. You could see again the legs stop moving. And at no point does this guy even feel like, you know, maybe I should stop this, or okay, I've subdued him, or whatever it is. He chokes him until he's gone.
It's that white bloodlust, that white racist bloodlust that Tucker Carlson described in the email that you read to us yesterday. I mean, it's in them. Obviously not in our good white friends. It's not in our good white friends that's with us today. But there's something about the white supremacist nature, the spirit of it, like to take the life of a black person, of a brown person, is almost like achieving that top level of power over someone, over dominion, over the individual, but as the race as a whole. Like, I, white man, am powerful enough to take down this powerful black man, and the white power system reinforces that, rewards them for it.
So let's bring the ear doctor back, even though I know he's going to have a choppy commercial because I got to go to the bathroom. Let's be clear.
Yeah, yo, I was just saying. I remember back in the '90s that we had in Atlanta, we had the church lady. She would always have the sign to talk about, you know, church and Bible, and then we had this guy that was a sergeant, and he couldn't really speak. He would just be like, ah, and he would just do that all the time. But everybody just knew that's what they did. Nobody messed with him. Nobody bothered them. But this is like some Marvel comics. All these white guys want to be like superheroes and try to save the day, up here trying to knock the girl down and save some. Come on, man. And I like how she got back up and was like, all right. And she tried to grab the bag and run back out. I was like, all right. But yo,
I'd have been trying to poker face. I'd have been showing that nigga my poker face, dog. Poker. Can you imagine being attacked by a whole grown ass man? Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember I got locked up for jumping the train. But anyway, let me go ahead and
Haven't we all at least once?
I don't think Kim has. I can see Coco. Coco look like
she's definitely got locked up. She's from the Bronx.
Exactly.
It's like an athletic sport in the Bronx. It's like, how high can you jump over the turnstile?
I did spend some time in Central Bookings in the Bronx. I did. Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah, you got to be able to show you got to be able to clear. There's like different ways, you know, both a 2-hand jump. You know, if you really young, athletic,
I got threatened several times in Central Bookings. You know? That's correct.
So what do y'all got to do? Like, y'all got to do like the what's the horse? It's called the horse.
You got to do the horse jump. That's like worth 6 or 7 points.
You got to tuck the
slide through the turnstile. Then you got to do the slide.
There's a smooth swerve through though. There's a smooth swerve through. If you go in and you come out, you go. There's a smooth way to do it though. There is. There's a way.
Right. But a 10 on a scale of 1, a 10 is just to leap over that shit without touching it though. That's a 10.
Wow.
That's a 10.
High jump. Wow.
Right.
Let's go.
Well, Coco, let's take a quick break before this guy's bladder busts. Right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
My name is Kamal Franklin. I'm one of the organizers of Community Movement Builders. Community Movement Builders is a black organization, and we do work in 2 areas. I would say community organizing and sustainable development. We have 6 chapters here in Atlanta, Detroit, Dallas, Memphis, New Orleans, and San Diego. We do organizing around gentrification, particularly gentrification here in this community. If you see, there used to be a lot more before COVID hit, but there's these signs up that are anti-gentrification signs. It's part of our larger campaign to try to stop, prevent, slow down gentrification. This mural back here you see is part of our campaign. It was a petition campaign, a yard sign campaign, and we're going to do protests against local politicians, and also working with another group called the Housing Justice League to work around larger policy issues, so forth and so on.
Born in Port of Spain, Trinidad, she immigrated with her family in 1924 at the age of 8 to USA, where she experienced the poverty and racism that led her to dedicate her life to the liberation struggle. In 1948, in the McCarthy era, she was arrested, charged with seeking to overthrow the government by force and violence, tried and imprisoned. When illness forced her to give up her legal appeals against deportation, she left the USA in 1956, took up residence in Britain. She was the coordinator of the first Caribbean Carnival in London, out of which developed was the European's largest street festival, the Notting Hill Carnival. In 1958, she founded and edited the West Indian Gazelle and Afro-Asian Caribbean News, the first campaigning black newspaper in Britain, which was involved in many campaigns and even visited USSR, Japan, and China to contribute to the struggle for world peace. She died in London and is buried in the grave next to that of Karl Marx in Highgate Cemetery. Thank you, Claudia Jones, for your contribution to our upward movement.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what just happened there? So I heard me, and then it was Claudia Jones. What was the transition? What's going on?
Well, you had to go back and watch. But we showed a little community movement builder commercial that I did a while back, and
Did I pay you for that?
Huh?
Did I pay you for that?
Yeah, you might have.
Okay.
But so showing what community movement builders out here doing, a little history lesson on Claudia Jones. So that's
Was
what
that
we
your
do.
voice? Was that your voice on the Claudia Jones one?
Come on, man.
No, it sounded like it was like a late night thing. You was trying to.
No, I tried to do how they be doing on the specials and stuff. I'm
Yeah. You did a Morgan Freeman one.
Yeah, doing my Morgan Freeman.
I just have a question about one of the things you mentioned about Claudia Jones. You said the paper that she founded was called the West Indian Gazelle?
Yeah.
Or was it? It was the Gazelle, not the Gazette?
Oh, the Gazette? It's probably the Gazette. I'm sure it was the Gazette.
You gonna bust my balls here on live the TV?
It's got my attention. I've just never heard a newspaper be called the Gazelle. I said, "Wow, Claudia!" Claudia was thinking out the box. Woo!
I'm funny to you over here.
Yeah, doctor, I love it. Like, woo, come on, man. Intimate domain, my nigga. What?
And big up to May for coming over here and blessing us. You see the Remix Morning Show at the top live? That's right. That's right. During the show, we got some things going on. We back, baby. We back. Big up to May.
Thank you, May. But
what happened? What did she do?
You don't see the top where it say Remix Morning Show?
Yeah. Is that? Oh, she's pulling back all the stuff that got stolen.
Yes.
Oh.
No, somebody's gonna have to fess up, BPM team, because if it was an accident, you got to say it was an accident. Because if nobody say nothing, we just have to assume it was sabotage. You know what I'm saying?
I think Jordan did.
It was not me. I tell you, it was not me.
Oh.
You don't even have a motive. What's your motive? You don't got no motive.
It could have been by accident, but I definitely didn't do it. It wasn't me.
I think it was Jordan.
Girl, what a plea. It could have been by accident, but I definitely didn't do that shit, though. If I did it, it was by accident, but I didn't do that shit. No, somebody deleted the shit. Because, Ear Doctor, like, I'm assuming it takes some intention. Like, you can't really just accidentally delete the shit, right?
Because you did a whole bunch, right, at once.
Nah, you got to go to that one and delete it. It's like,
and there was several things gone, right? It was like 8 or 9 different things pop, right?
No, the whole brand, like everything that I had transitions, everything was under there and it's deleted. So
yeah, why got to be Camus, B? Why got to be why would I do that?
Nah,
I was looking for a day off, but you know what I'm saying. I was hoping
he don't know how to do none of this technique. I mean,
right? Kamal lacks the expertise to pull something like this off.
The sophistication. I don't.
It was probably somebody that had a new. I don't know. I don't even know. It don't matter because we're here. You know what I mean?
It matters.
You want to bring up old shit. They say women are the best
archaeologists.
archaeologists.
What are you talking about?
They say women are the best archaeologists because they always good at digging up shit from the past.
It was yesterday. What do you mean digging shit up? It was yesterday. It's not like it was like 5 years ago. It's like yesterday.
I mean, I'm saying, man, we here now.
You trying to move on? You trying to move on?
That's what I do. We keep it moving. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, the other turnstile thing. I'm sorry, it's the end of the show now. I don't give a fuck. Like, the 2 for 1. The 2 for 1. Like when you with your girl, like pow. You know what I mean? That was always a good one.
When you get right behind them.
Yeah. Two going for 1, the price of 1. You do swipe, but it's 2 you go in.
But then it's always like the gate. Yeah, the gate.
Exactly,
the gate is it.
Exactly.
The gate is it because you just leave it open like somebody walk right in. Easy.
But they would always have those bad looking cops looking like construction workers. And those would be the niggas that stop you. They all at the thing. Then all of a sudden 4 of them gather around you. It's like this fucking clown. You know what I mean?
I think I told you I was up there substitute teaching at school and they came and got me out of class.
You did tell that story.
I did. They came and got me out of class.
For turnstile jumping.
For turnstile jumping.
They came to your school.
To the school I was subbing at and was like, oh, that's where he work at? Let's go get him.
Damn.
It's such a waste of resources.
Over $3?
$2.
Two. $175.
I mean, let me ask all a question seriously. I mean, let's do some reimagination of society. If we did something relatively small and simple as make the New York City subways free, like how does that change the dynamic of working class and poor New Yorkers' everyday lives? Like if you could just walk into the train, you wouldn't ever have to pay for the train ever, don't have to pay for the bus ever. What kind of immediate difference would that make on the lives of people that live and work in New York?
People would get to work on time. People would have more money in their bank because these days it cost. I mean, I don't remember. I haven't been there such a while, but it's like $3 or $4 per ride at this stage. It's not a cheap endeavor. And you're right, the fact that they don't even need it, right? People could get to go. If people need services, they can understand that they don't have to scrounge up a certain amount of money to get from A to B. They could just get to A and B, right? And it's just so many ways it alleviates it used to like $75, $80, $100 a month. You know, people have to pay to get like a monthly pass or something along those lines. So it immediately alleviates the problem. But now is this thing is like, yeah, if you can't afford to ride a train, you can't get nowhere in New York. It's not like everybody's got a car, and it's still the cheapest mode of transportation. Yeah. Like you want to take an Uber, and like you got a car. The bus and the trains are the easiest way to get things, and they're the most inexpensive, but they're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they cracked down on the dollar vans too. So you mean like they don't even have that, you know? So it's like a lot of people are not, you know, the access to transportation to get to where you got to go is you know, limited.
Damn. So the real thugs right now is Lyft and Uber, huh? I mean, because cabs don't even get no love, like, no more. I don't remember last time I took a cab.
No, the cab drivers are out of business, too. Like, they're not, like, it's all Lyft and Uber. And, yeah, the dollar vans was, like, the easy way to travel from, like, in Flatbush area. So when you coming from, like, at least in Brooklyn, when you go from Crown Heights or Bed-Stuy to Flatbush, you hop in a dollar cab because you want to be, you know, the bus would take a while. Kind of thing. And it was always an experience. The dollar cabs were like mad high. I mean, it's usually like a Jamaican brother, sister. They're doing their thing. They got the van up. It's like you piling into the van. They got this either the soca, they got the reggae playing. Like, you know, it's a ride. It's a ride. And it's a good ride. I mean, in a good way. It's like it's a taste of New York. And you save some money, right? You saving money because you ain't got to wait for the bus all day. You get into where you need to go. So them cracking down on that. It's just, you know, the exploitative relationship is like, yo, we want all that money to come in here. We're refusing to allow folks with, like, you need a license to pick me up and to drive me from A to B in a van. What is that? What is that? But capitalism.
I see why y'all all moved down here to Atlanta.
I was forced, B. I didn't want to.
They ran you out. My bad. What about you, Coco?
I mean, I couldn't afford it, so I had to leave. You know, it is what it is.
Yo, Kim, when you coming down here?
And you guys are generational New Yorkers. I mean, Kamal, you were first, second generation New Yorker. Coco, how long your people been in the city?
My mom and my dad was both born in the city, so, and then their families was not. So they was first gen. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I'm never coming to Atlanta, baby. Atlanta is DMV on steroids. I can't do it. It's too, I mean, not that I drive any fucking way, but it's too much traffic. Like, Atlanta looks crowded.
It's because they all drive slow and they text on the phone while they driving. I'm telling you, you see them and they just be on the phone just like this. Not looking at nothing, but that's how they be driving out.
Except for the ones who decide to race. I'm not crazy about the racing on the highway, B. I'm not crazy about it. When people be zipping through, I'm like, yo, I'm about to, you know, yet again, you get that urge. I don't do it, but you get that urge to be like, are you trying to come in this lane? Kind of thing. But they literally be racing. It's crazy. They say second to California, it's got more traffic anywhere.
And the MARTA, moving Africans rapidly through Atlanta, that's what it stands for. That's the train system, MARTA. That's what it does. But it sucks so bad that people like, yo, if you ain't got a car and the train system don't really take you where you need to go, it's terrible. So even if it was free down here, it still sucks.
It don't take you nowhere. The train station in Atlanta takes you nowhere. It's a T.
I know it goes up on purpose. That was to keep the ends out of, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Outside
all
of the
white suburbs said no, you can't expand that. No.
285
from our neighborhoods. Yeah.
Now
they're moving into Atlanta.
And it's too buzzy. I'm sorry.
What Atlanta?
Atlanta's a little buzzy. And I know I'm in Maryland.
No, you gotta come.
You gotta come to the south side.
Yeah, and I was about to say you talking about the north part of Atlanta.
I don't know. I every time I see people, well, not like radical people, but you know, the aspirational bourgeoisie niggas be in Atlanta. Oh, we going to the and we going to the. I mean, niggas just look real shiny.
in the what's the mall? The Buckhead Mall.
Oh, Lennox.
You gotta take a walk. Yo, it's comedy. It's because that's where you get to see it all. You get to see the wannabe bouge. You get to see ghetto bouge. You get to see the little white wealth. It's all just a microcosm of everything that's fucked up in the world.
And you might get robbed in the parking lot too. I mean, that's Lennox Mall. You will get robbed in the parking lot.
In fact, they on the escalators.
Shot
on the escalators. They have whatchamacallit. What was it?
The little where they see what you got on you,
like
at the airport.
They scan, yeah.
On the escalator.
For a while, they were stopping you from floor to floor to check your purse or your bag.
They who? Who is they?
The cops.
Fucking mall security. The cops.
Serious?
The cops. Yeah.
Stopping and frisking niggas in the mall
from floor to floor. If you took the escalator up, there was like a scanner.
All right, y'all.
You had to walk through the electronic scanner.
But in Atlanta, it's two sides. Like, it's two sides. You come down to the south, you go to Greenbrier Mall, you ain't got no problems. Trust me. That's in the Swatch. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
That's where the rainbow shop is. Let's go.
You already know. Well, listen, y'all. Thank y'all for all tuning in to another show, the Remix Morning Show, that is. And we will catch y'all next Tuesday, same time. Hopefully we won't have a rerun. We're going to see if we can get Coco to start coming in on Tuesdays too. You know what I'm saying?
Tuesdays seem to be a hard day.
Tuesdays are our Mondays. Yeah.
For real.
All right. Work on Tuesdays.
So we, let me see if we got our outro so we can get up out of here.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, no, we don't. So we just going to do it like this. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will catch y'all next Tuesday on the Remix Morning Show. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace.
Peace.